Hey guys, it's Ani, and today this video is such a good one. I want you guys to stick around if you've gone through anything like ghosting, if you're trying to get back into communication with your specific person, if you're trying to get your specific person back, if you're trying to spend time with them, if you're trying to manifest just a better relationship between you two and you haven't heard from them or anything like that, this video and this success story is for you. Okay, so I will get into it right away so I can tell you what we did for her to get success. So just a brief backstory. This client of mine, we've been working together for a while, and the way it was, so she has kids with her specific person, and the way her specific person was showing up was actually he wasn't really showing up. Like, he wasn't there for them all the time that she needed him to. There were times where there was like zero communication, or like just little bit of communication, maybe a response here and there to a text message, and then he would be gone for days or weeks, right? And she was constantly like feeling like giving up, not believing in her affirmations, but still persisting. So this is literally like such a good example of why you should persist and why it doesn't matter like if you believe in your affirmations or not. Because when we started, she did not believe in the affirmations, and I'm sure you guys have felt that way in the past, or even now when you're affirming, like you probably feel like, okay, this is like not even close to where I'm at in my 3D. Like, I desire constant communication. I desire being with my SP, living with my SP, but that's not currently what's going on. So we all have that little voice in our head that's like, oh, it's not like this now. Why are you being delusional? Right? So let me get into the story because it's a good one. All right. Aloha, Ani. It's me again. Wow, things have just continued to progress in such a way that makes my whole heart warm. Where do I begin? I had wrote you a few days after our session about the necklace manifestation, but it just feels like everything is full steam ahead now. My confidence level in this has absolutely skyrocketed since then. Seeing the little random wins like that has led to the big wins. Normally, I would wait to contact you during our next session, but I'm too excited and I wanted to share. I have kept up with my affirmations, looking forward to them, and feel so excited when I say them. I believe them now. Anywho, to the good stuff. Specific person has been contacting me nonstop every day. Okay, this is huge, you guys, because her concern was there's no communication. Like, there's no communication. How is there going to be consistent communication if right now there's no communication at all, right? And I'm sure a lot of you guys have been going through this, so this is for you. This is your sign that if you were doubting it, here's a success story. Sorry, let's continue. SP has been contacting me nonstop every day, and I invited him over for dinner because I knew he would jump up for joy to spend time. LOL. And he did. He was very excited. Imagine that winky face. We had the best time. He was so attentive to the boys. Dinner went perfect. He helped me around the house and then ended up staying the night. I want to mention something because I remember this during our session. There were a lot of times where like he had said like, okay, we'll meet, we'll do dinner and stuff like that. Like, during the hot and cold behavior, that never happened. Like, there were times where they would talk now and then, like every few weeks or every few months. I don't remember exactly, but there were times where they would set something up and it would never go. It would never work out. Like, either he had to cancel on her, he never would pull through, and she would get disappointed. But it was in those times where even if you're disappointed in that moment, you don't let 3D get to you. So you keep persisting, right? And this time it happened. This time they did have the dinner. It went great. So let me let me continue. Dinner went perfect. He helped around the house and then ended up staying the night. I got to feel all the love and affection I had been craving all this time. And then the next morning, he got up early, took care of the boys to let me sleep in. He didn't leave until I had to go to work later in the day. Ugh, magical. Texted me after he left and let me know he had a good time. And one day later, we had a bad fire to where I had to evacuate my home. He got the notice on his phone for the evacuation in my area, and he immediately called me and told me to come over and stay with him. He asked me what I needed to have at his house for us. The fire was a bit dramatic. They ended up calling off the whole evacuation less than 12 hours later, but anywho, I ended up staying with him for 3 days. It was perfect and better than I ever could imagine. So nice having all of us in the same house. At one point, on the second day, I was like, okay, maybe I've stayed too long. I'll just pack up and head home. But as I was doing that, I persisted that circumstances don't matter. SP wants me here. And he asked me where was I going, and he unpacked everything. He unpacked everything I packed and then made me dinner, and we stayed up all night together. The next day, I packed up and went home because I had things to do. And when I left, he told me I could have stayed another day. Ani, you know it hasn't been like this in so long. This is insane. I'm on cloud 9. Girl, yes. We had the conversation. He wants this with us. Like, what? There was actually 2 very embarrassing things that happened the first night he stayed at my house. But I'll save that laugh for the session. I saved those moments by knowing circumstances don't matter. We've come such a long way. All of these minor experiences are leading to the big ones I've dreamt about. I know it. I know that I'm powerful now and that my SP is mirroring me. It's beautiful. I know that we are on track for everything. I've known in my heart to be true. Thank you for helping me see this. This has all been within me this whole time. I love you, Ani. Wait, let me read that part. Thank you for helping me see this. Thank you for helping me see this has all been within me this whole time. I love you, Ani. Girl, I love you too. I'm so excited. Oh my God. You guys, she would dream about this when we first started. She was just dreaming about this. All she wanted in the beginning was just consistent communication. And then she would get some here and there, hot and cold. And then it would go like days and days and weeks without communicating with each other. So if you're on your manifestation journey with your SP, if you're trying to get back that connection you guys once had and you feel helpless, like it's never going to get there, or if you guys once dated each other and you're trying to get all that back now, or even just communication, even just seeing each other, even just staying the night with each other, leading to a committed relationship, this is such amazing proof of if you put in the work and if you discipline your thoughts, if you keep a good mental diet, you will get it. All of the work you're doing is an investment. You will not lose the work you're putting in just because it doesn't show up today, tomorrow, the next day, the next week. Just because you don't get it instantly doesn't mean all this work you're putting in will go to waste. It's not going down the drain. And that is huge proof of that. And if you're watching this and thinking, yeah, everyone else gets their manifestation but me, you are mistaken, my friend, because I once used to think of that. I once used to think that way, and every single client of mine used to think that maybe Ani's success stories, they're not lucky, but like maybe they just work harder than I would. Maybe they have a stricter mental diet than I do. Maybe their circumstances are different. Nope. Nope. I'm not going to let you guys off the hook. There's no circumstance that is like too much or too hard to get through. None of it matters. No circumstance matters, and your story doesn't matter. Sorry. I don't care if your specific person hasn't talked to you in a year, in 5 years, in 10 years. I don't care if your specific person has a third party or 10 third parties. None of that matters. And I know because I hear all these success stories all the time. Some people want me to share them, and some people want to keep it secret just between them and I. And all the success stories I've had in my personal life with my specific person, or anyone, it doesn't have to be just specific people. People are people. It could be someone you're intimate with. It could be a boss. It could be a friend. It could be a parent. It could be a child. It doesn't matter who you're trying to manifest or how you're trying to recreate them. There's just too much evidence and too much proof, like too many people sharing success stories, too much proof. And if you're not believing it through these types of success stories, you should try it for yourself. You should try it for yourself. Like, honestly, I wouldn't be where I am today, and my clients wouldn't be where they are today with their successes and their happy relationships if they didn't apply it. So I don't want this video to be just a YouTube video for you watching. I don't want this to be just like, wow, another person got a success story. Cool. I wish I could be that. What's stopping you? Because your subconscious is not judging you. The force that's here helping you, that's co-creating with you to project it into your universe, it's waiting on you. It straight up is waiting on you. And I know I'm talking about it like it's a piece of cake. I know it's not a piece of cake. This is probably going to be a very, I don't want to say difficult, but at times it would be difficult because at times you're going to want to give up. At times you're not going to get evidence fast enough, and it's going to make you question and doubt your power. But in those times, you have to persist. In those times, you have to stick to your news story. In those times, you need to affirm. In those times, you need to have a mental diet. It's just like anything else. Think about right now, like, okay, Olympics are going on right now, right? Like, think about all those athletes. How much did they have to persist when they felt like giving up to even get to the Olympics? I'm not even talking about being a like gold medalist or silver medalist or even like winning. I'm talking about just getting to the Olympics, to that level. How much did they have to persist when they felt like giving up? How much did they sweat and cry and fear the unknown? But they still went through it, right? It's the same thing with anything. It's the same thing with a diet. The same thing with changing your thoughts, your mental diet. You have to understand one thing, and that is you cannot be hard on yourself, because the majority of your life, I say this so much, but it's so important. The majority of your life, you didn't know you were this powerful. You probably don't even know now, even though you've probably experienced evidence of your thoughts creating, but you still don't believe it. And I'm saying that because I went through it. When I was manifesting my specific person, or when I was manifesting all this money and jackpots and winning so much money and just financial abundance and just like a extremely healthy, beautiful relationship with my SP or my family or my friends or any of it, right? When I was manifesting it, there were so many times like I would get evidence here and there, and it wasn't enough for me to believe it. the evidence that I would get that my affirmations are creating, like I actually hear people saying my affirmations back to me. I would hear my specific person say my affirmations back to me. I would see them doing what I wanted them to do. I would get all the money in, right, from the jackpot wins or just in business in general. I would still think like, maybe I'm just lucky. No. You know why you feel that way, or why you may fully not believe that you're that powerful? Because think of it as a scale. All, like, let's say you're 25 or 30 years old, or older, it doesn't matter. Have you been practicing everyone's you pushed out for 30 years or 40 years or 50 years? No. You've probably just come across this year or 2 or 10, even if it's 10, right? Which one's heavier? The old you, the old programming, the one that thinks that this is just coincidence. Unless you're teaching your kids from a young age, or unless someone taught you from a young age that your thoughts create, be careful what you think and what you assume about people, because that is shaping them to behave that way towards you. Unless someone told you that from long ago, that's not your natural reaction. That's not your natural instinct to think like, yeah, everyone's being pushed out. So don't beat yourself up. Just persist. Persist the same way an Olympic athlete would persist in sport, or the same way anyone that's now a master at something would persist in their passion, right? No one's born a gold medalist, or I mean, yeah, you can say like it's in them, right? Like maybe it's genetically in them, but practice makes perfect, right? So that's the key to this. Like what we did, her and I, is every time she wanted to give up, every time she doubted herself, I like, nope, go back to the basics. What are the basics? What are the basics? And I want you guys to listen to this very carefully, because your emotions and your old programming try to trick you into the illusion of you're not in control. But every time you feel that way, this is what you're going to do. This is what I did on my journey. This is what I tell my clients to do. And this helps a lot. Anytime you doubt, you go back to the basics. What are the basics? No one has free will in my reality except me. And if I don't believe it, I'm going to write down a list of little mini manifestations and I'm going to try it out. Even if I see a tiny little evidence of my affirmation creating, I'm going to take that as everything listens to me. Everyone hears me, because it does. Your whole reality is waiting on you. Your whole reality is listening to your thoughts. Your subconscious listening to your thoughts, waiting to project it out into your 3D. Okay? You are the only one with free will. Rule number 1. Rule number 2. This is science. Your perception of something forms that atom to behave in that way to match the assumption you have. It's if you guys haven't checked out the double slit, I think it's called double slit theory. That's what it is. Everything is atoms, right? We're all atoms, but we're like moving at such a speed that we look solid. Like I look solid, right? But I'm just a bunch of atoms, like moving so fast that I just look like a human being. Well, I am a human being, but I'm talking about the science part of it. So if I look at an atom, and this is proven, I look at an atom and I make an assumption, and that atom changes to match my assumption. And if a human is just a bunch of atoms, what does that mean? If that little atom can change to my assumption to match it, a huge body of atoms has to too. It's just multiplied. But when you're doing it, you don't think of a human as atoms. You're not looking at it scientifically. Most likely you're looking at everything emotionally. Most likely you're looking at everything as a reactor, not a creator. But a creator must remember the basic rules. And this is, think about it. If you're really good at a game, right? You know the basic rules to that game. You know where you can push through, you know where you can push the limit, and you know where you can't, because there are rules, right? Same thing with creation. There are rules in your reality that you need to remember at all times, because if you don't, you're going to fall for the illusion. You're going to fall for that voice in your head that's saying you're not powerful. And the only reason you have that voice in your head that you're not powerful is because no one conditioned you and no one taught you to understand how powerful you are. That's the only thing. So you're just not used to it. Okay? Like, think about it this way. A kid, when they're small, right? And you say, no, don't touch the fire, you're going to get burned. And then they go close to it and they can feel the heat, right? That becomes a rule. They just know until adulthood that, all right, fire's hot. I'm not going to touch that unless I'm going to, or unless I'm going to get burned, right? So from childhood, they know that that is that, and I'm not going to do that, right? So if you knew from childhood, hey, my thoughts create, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to watch my thoughts. You would be so chill right now. You would just, nothing would be a problem. Everything would be a piece of cake because you knew that one rule. But you didn't. So stop being hard on yourself. But now you do. And you need to practice it. You need to apply it to see more of it. The more you see of it, the more evidence you get from your thoughts and affirmations creating. And you got to be patient with yourself, because remember, thoughts are not instant in 3D. There's a process. So everything's instant here in your brain, in 4D, in your inner world. But in 3D, in the physical realm, it takes time to push it back to you, because you have all the other thoughts that still have to be pushed out, right? I call it the purge. Everything you were thinking before knowing about law of assumption is still being pushed out. So you need to be patient and allow that to clear out, that to push out, that to delete completely. You're making space for this new stuff to come in. That's exactly how my client was doing it, that now she's having the most amazing time with her specific person, and they're back to being a family again. Like, she went through sometimes like humps on the road. It wasn't smooth sailing. But this is all for you to be like a master at this, for you to be like a black belt at manifesting. You go through the bumpy road to become a master. That's just how everything is, right? But you guys will get there. Please don't think, like, if I could just hold you and hug you and just be like, I promise you're going to get your manifestation. I promise. I guarantee it. You're going to get your manifestation. Like, I wish I could get in your head and think for you, but everyone has their own journey and everyone goes through specific things to build the belief. So I intend all of you feel good after this video, and I intend you feel motivated and inspired, because every single one of my success stories has gone through what you're going through right now: the doubt, the fear, the hopeless feeling like it's never going to work out, the frustration, the stress, the tears. You guys, I used to I don't know if I mentioned this in another video, but I went like a year before I knew about law of assumption. I went a year not talking to SP, like a year of crying and a year of doubting and everything, and then now we're together. So I don't care if it's been months, I don't care if it's been years, you will get your manifestation. You just need to stick to your mental diet. Keep going even when you don't see anything. Keep going, because there's always movement. There's always movement. Sometimes what's happening is that purging process, when you see stuff that's not in your favor, right? you know how like sometimes you have a USB flash, I don't even know what you call it, USB or a flash drive. You put it in your computer, and like let's say you want to transfer files in there, but there's no room, right? So what do? You have to grab those old files and delete them to make room, like gigabytes to free up, right? That's exactly what's happening in your reality. Let the old stuff purge out, so all this new files you're putting into your subconscious, they project out. But you got to let that old stuff delete. Let it purge out, let it delete, don't react to it, and let the new files now come through and pop up on your screen, right? All right, guys, I intend each and every one of you take this as a sign that you're next. You're the next success story. If you've gone through anything like this and this video made you motivated and inspired, please comment down below. And please remember, I've gone through all of this too with SP, so I know what I'm talking about. I hear all the success stories all the time. For some people, it takes some more time. We're all different. We all have different beliefs and different thought processes, and we're all just on a journey trying to understand ourselves more and understand where our thoughts are coming from and our reactions are coming from. The more you're clear about the triggers, the more easier you're able to maneuver around all of this. Okay, so I intend all of you guys have an amazing, amazing, amazing weekend, and I will see you soon. I have very good news coming soon, so stay tuned. I might pop up like in the middle of the week. So stay tuned for that, and please comment down below and let everyone know like the success you've been having recently, because I know it helps other people watching. It's motivation for everyone to see like other people are going through it and other people are getting success. It will help everyone. Okay. All right, guys. Love you. See you later. Bye.